We are in Bracha. We are on page 29b. And we're looking at an interesting situation. What happens is, let me just give you the background. We're looking at a situation where you're going into a place of danger. When you go into a place of danger, so automatically your merits and your demerits come before the throne of God, as it were. And you have needlessly, and sometimes, well, it may not be needlessly, but you have put yourself into danger. When anybody is put into danger, immediately you have a court case going on up in Shamayim, in heaven. Okay, and so your like I said, your mitzvot are testifying for you, and your averot are testifying against you. And it's in a court case. So as a result of that, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehoshua said, Hamahalech b'makom sekana. If somebody is walking in a dangerous place, now what is considered a dangerous place? It could be the dark streets at night. It could be, and that's normally what they would consider a dangerous place. If I would be walking down the west side of South Bend, I think that's where the dangerous side is. If I walk in certain place in Chicago, if I go to Boston, if I go to Mass Ave, although I heard they clean that up, but if I go into Roxbury, nobody knows what I'm talking about except for you. If I go into New York and I walk into Harlem and with a shirt saying white power, I don't think I'm going to make it out alive. Okay, if I walk into Spanish, any one of these Harlems, okay, if anything like that, if I put myself into a place of danger, or I know it's a place of danger, so what should I do? Notice I don't want to really be there, but I had to. So it says, Rabbi Yehoshua said, Mitpalel tefillah katsara. You say a small prayer. And what's this small prayer say? It says like this. Hosha Hashem et amcha et she'eret Yisrael. Hashem should save your people, the remnant of Israel. Bechol parshat ha'ibor. In every section, if you will, of their passing, really the Gemara is going to define that term of parshat ha'ibor. So it says, my parshat ha'ibor. What is the definition of parshat ha'ibor? Like I said, parshat ha'ibor could be translated as the way of passing. That's how you could translate it. But the Gemara says the answer is Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Mar Ukba. So Rav Chisda said in the name of Mar Ukba, Afilu. What it means is Afilu b'shah sha'ata mitmali alehem evra. Even in a time that you, God, are filled have anger against them. Why would God have anger against us? Because we've sinned. Simple as that. And how much sinning? Ke'isha uvra, like a pregnant woman, as big as a pregnant woman is. That's how many sins we have. Okay. And so even with all that, when the time that your anger is filled upon us with that much that we've been doing wrong, you call sarcheihem lefanecha, all of their needs should be before you. In other words, even in a time that we have made you angry with our sins, you should have compassion on us. Amar Rava. And Amar Rav Chisda, so some say that Rav Chisda said in the name of Mar Ukva, Afilu b'shah shehem ovrim avera al da'as Torah, even in the time that they are transgressing on the words of Torah, he called sarcheihem lefanecha, that all their needs should be before you. So you have two ways to look at it. Either the word avor is referring to the picture of a pregnant woman, and that we're filled like that, or is that we've transgressed on avor means avera. It's a play on words here. Avor could be avera, you transgressed on the words of Torah. So there's a couple of ways to understand this. One is the Anav Yosef says beautifully that when it's referring to the pregnant woman, it says that, and I won't go through the whole thing, it says that a pregnant woman is happy when she feels pain.
When she feels what?
Pain.
Oh.
When she feels the baby moving in her, she feels happy. Now, if you think about it, when I first read it, I was thinking, I can't imagine that to be true. The pain. Then I remembered, you know what? When my wife was pregnant with all my kids, and you see this in many times, when they feel the baby kick or anything else, they're so happy. Why are they happy?
I didn't know they caused them pain. I never heard that before.
Well, the pain of carrying them. I have yet to see a woman who said, I loved carrying a 20-pound thing around my stomach. It's hard to walk. You have to go to the bathroom every 20 minutes. And so it's hard on the body. And yet they all, but if the baby doesn't move, they get very afraid. If they don't feel the kick, they get very afraid, because that could, God forbid, be a stillborn. So whenever they feel the poof or the pain, they know the baby's alive. When I went to the doctor for my checkup, and I told him, he said, everything all right? And I said, well, I have a little pain here, pain here. So my doctor said to me, he said, truth is, my father always told me, as long as I have pain, I know I'm alive. Okay? So there's a joy, as it were, to this pregnant woman who has the pain. But he even goes further, and he says, when they feel their heels and they feel their feet coming and the heaviness, why are they happy? Because they know they're going to have somebody to hug. In other words, they have a life in them, and that's why they're happy. So we're asking Hashem, as it were, to be happy like that woman who's pregnant. It's true we're sinning. It's true, everything is true, but we're growing, and we are children. So that's a nice way to look at it, that this is all part of bringing us up. And so just as a mother has pain, but she understands that it's for the best for the child, that the child is alive. So also when you see us doing something wrong, let your anger be pushed aside, just like this pregnant woman, and love us, because really in the end we're going to come out nicely. I thought that was a very nice interpretation of the first one. On the other hand, the Eitz Yosef, he looks at the two examples and says, what's going on here? We have two types of sins. He says the first type of sin is the sin that a person wants to do. It's just the way they want to do it. Their neshama is pushing them to do it. For instance, stealing or getting involved with the forbidden sexual relationships.
Purposeful sin.
No, the Yetzer Hara sins.
That's not purposeful? I mean,
it's not purposeful. It's my Yetzer Hara is telling me I can get away with it. And it's something that my Yetzer Hara is going for. And it's not that I Badafka did it. It's that I had something in front of me. I'll give you an example of Gazela. I'm walking down the street, and I'm walking through the garden, and somebody's garden, or on whatever, I'm passing something, I see a beautiful flower. So I pick the flower. It won't hurt anybody, I think. I've just stolen. I've stolen from somebody. And even if I give that to my beloved, whoever my beloved would be at that moment, okay, so it's still stealing. Or if I'm working, and I say, and I use my computer, in certain places you go in and they tell you cannot use your computer to check your email. Okay? What happens is somebody always will check their email.
Your personal stuff.
Yeah, personal stuff. They'll check it. Because what the boss doesn't know won't hurt the boss. I've just stolen. If in the old days, nobody will know what I'm talking about, except, well, you guys will. But any young person, I don't know if they know what I'm talking about. When you used to call, when you were in college, or whatever the case was, and you would call, I wanted a person-to-person collect. Okay, and you would say, this is blah, 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 calling for so-and-so. Your parents understood what the message was, call me back. That saved money. Otherwise, because otherwise you spend $3 for that minute. It was just a crazy amount of money. So people used to do that all the time. That is gezela. That is stealing. You're stealing from the what do you call it? The telephone company.
Yeah.
And even though they're rich, they don't need our money, and all this wonderful, we rationalized it all. Everybody rationalized. And it was still gezela. That's your Yetzer Hara getting to you. How can I get away with it? Or even better, we still do it. I sometimes I'm even doing it. Comes to a stop sign. When I actually, one of the kids, a person in front of me stopped dead at a stop sign, looked around, and then went. There was no traffic. And my son said, "Why is he waiting?" I said, "What are you talking about? You're supposed to do that." That is the law.
Yeah.
It says stop. It doesn't say slow down. It doesn't say glide through.
Yeah.
You have to stop. And I realized that I'm probably not doing it myself. I'm probably just cutting it. So now I'm Vidavka trying to stop, make it so it's a dead stop. Because it's normal when you see, like, going to shul, that stop sign. Why would I stop there?
I was taught in drivers, I remember it's from driver's training. A stop, you're supposed to come to a stop and count 3 seconds before you go.
Okay, that I was never taught.
Yeah.
I was not yet to count.
That's what stop means. 3 seconds, then you know you've stopped.
Right. Okay. So fine, but the point is that when we don't do that, that is the sense of we know we can get away with it. There are no cops there. If the cop would be there, would stop dead.
Here's a tangential discussion.
Yeah.
What about like you get out not so much around here, but let's say in Chicago on what do they call it, the Outer Beltway, 294.
Okay.
The speed limit is posted as 55 all up and down. Nobody does it. You get 55, you get run down. You get 55 in the slow lane, they'll be honking at you. So go with the flow. So I know there's discussion on that. If a law is not enforced.
I'm not sure what the discussion would be. I know what my father always told me. My father always told me when it came to this stuff, you go with the traffic. Otherwise, you're going to you'll be causing danger to yourself and everybody else. So you go with the traffic. Whatever the traffic is, you have to go because the cops can't pull everybody over.
Right.
But in reality, I'm not Dina Machuta Dina. They would argue.
I've heard the halakhic discussions about that. Is that if that law is not enforced on a regular basis, in other words, they don't expect. You say
it's like when the truth is when you have a speed limit of 55 and you're going, you can go up to 63.
Yeah.
63 without being. There's nobody going to look at you. And even I actually asked a police officer one time. I said, if I'm going, it's 55, and I'm going 65, 70. You say, we're not going to pull you over.
No.
The only time we're going to pull you over is if you're swerving, if you're in danger. We look at that. That's when we pull over.
Yeah.
We're not really, we don't want you to drive 70. It still is. It is. We may pull you over, but the odds are we're not going to really look at that. If you're going 90, then it's done. You're
that
stopped.
slow lane on 294 that was 55. Right. They're going 65 to 70 in a slow lane.
Right. So, like I said, when it comes to that, I'm not sure. Like I said, we have the law of the land's the law. But if everybody is breaking that law, and we're going to put ourselves into danger to follow that law.
So halakhically, yeah, I mean, it's dangerous to go that slow.
Right.
Even though it's posted.
Right. So, like I said, I would use a little seichel with that, but I mean, if you see a guy going 80 miles an hour, you don't follow him.
No.
But if it's within 10 miles of the speed limit,
80 miles an hour is going to be in probably the third lane.
Right.
They're doing it.
No, but I never did that. I never went that crazy.
No,
but
if that slow lane's doing 60 or 65, it's fine.
That's it. You have to go 60, 65. Otherwise, you're going to cause an accident. Okay, so that's like I said, that is all the Yetzer Hara. So, but then you have the second level, and that is beyond that. That's what we're doing it in order to grab onto evil side, not because our Yetzer Hara is telling us. That's Yetzer Hara is left in the dust. Now we're doing it just because, in spite. We don't like what the law is. We're breaking the law on purpose.
Okay, so I'm trying to get that. It's a subtle difference between being tempted by the Yetzer Hara.
Yes. There's one is Yetzer Hara where I know it's wrong. Really what it is I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. I know that you really want me to do this. I understand what the law is. And as long as I can get away with it, I'll get away with it. The other one is, I know you think it's wrong, but I know it's not. So therefore, even in front of you, I'm going to do it. And if I get punished, that's your business. But I don't care. So that's the guy who drives by the cop at 80 miles an hour and doesn't put the brakes on. Everybody else, you see a cop, boom, you hit the brakes. It's a normal thing.
At least take your foot off the gas pedal.
But I'm saying, even if you're going the right speed, no matter what you hit the brake. Hit the brake. The cop, your mother came in the room, your parents came in the room, you immediately put away what you're doing. You didn't want them to see what you were doing. Fine. So, and that's good. That's your Sahara. My Sahara is, can I get away with it or not? As long as I can get away with it, I'm going to do it. But on the other hand, like I said, if I don't care, I'm challenging your authority. Really, that's lahachis. That's where I'm just going out full blast, and I'm going to do it. And like I said, if you're going to punish me, punish me. I challenge you. That's an open thing, okay, and that's what he wants to say. That by the way, the H Yosef says that's rock zuhamet and nefesh. That's just to dirty the soul. That's the trash of the soul, if you will. And so what the rabbi is asking here is, even at that moment where I'm doing lahachis. In other words, remember, let's go back to where I was. I'm in a dangerous place. So he says, save Bnei Yisrael, save the remnant of Israel in all of their moments of anger or whatever the case is going to be, even if they're doing it on purpose, even if they're doing it lahachis, to spite you, still be compassionate upon them. That's what he's asking. Even at the height of their audacity, be compassionate. So that's what he said you should say when one enters into a dangerous place. Okay? That was one, all there needs to be before them. Good. So then the next one. Tanya Rabbanan, the rabbis learned in the Braita. Hamahalech b'makom gedudei chaya v'listim. So now you have a person who's walking in the troops of wild animals and thieves. We're even getting worse. The first place you walked was in a place of danger. No guarantee anything's going to happen. But here, there's a pretty good guarantee. I'm walking through the woods. There's dangerous wolves there, bears. You have, what do you have around here? I think we also have the wildlife. I see deers all over the place. But wherever you're going, if you have dangerous places, or I'm walking, like you said, in the dark alleys where thieves usually hang out, once again, and I'm forced. If somebody's walking through there as a shortcut, then halacha has absolutely no compassion on them. No, it doesn't. It says you put yourself purposely, not purposely. Yeah, well, I guess it is purposely. You purposely put yourself into danger. Remember, the minute I do that, the trial begins. That's it. That's really the underlying thing. Trial has begun on me.
Because you put yourself in danger. What are your merits for Hashem getting you out of there?
Right, that's all. So either I have my merits or I don't. But am I going to rely upon my merits? I'd rather stay out of the dangerous place. Again, if I need to go through there, an example would have been if I'm this is a great example, actually. I'm driving from South Bend to Chicago. I need to go to the bathroom. I pull off into Gary, Indiana, apparently the murder capital of the United States. I thought Chicago was personally, but okay. But apparently Gary has topped that. And I pull over there and I want to go to the bathroom. Well, truth is, when I did that, I didn't realize it was a murder capital of the United States of America. Otherwise, I would have kept going. But that would be a typical example of put yourself into danger. And that's why when the kids who I left in the car, they're all teenagers anyway, and I asked them, you need guys in the bathroom? And they said, no, just lock the doors. That was crazy. They want to be locked in my car. So I said, okay. It was a rent-a-car anyway. I locked them. No, it was tourist rent-a-car. I locked them in the car. I said, here you go. came out and they said, Rabbi, let's get out of here. I said, why are you guys so afraid? And they told me, this is the murder capital of the United States. I said, and you couldn't tell me that before I pulled off? It was the only place I've ever gone to where you to go to the bathroom, they have to buzz you in.
Oh, where did you stop at?
On the highway.
Would you take? Did you take the Skyway onto the toll road, or where were you?
Yeah, I was doing that.
Where in Gary did you stop?
It was right on the highway. It's right off the highway. It says bathroom. I pulled off, and I saw it. It was crazy.
Gas station.
Gas station. I said, "Can I have the bathroom?" They looked at me. It's in the back. I said, "It's locked." He said, "Oh," I said, "Bzz." It's like, whoa! He buzzed me into a bathroom. And I thought it was strange, but I didn't understand it. So I didn't question it. I said, okay. And then it told me a murder capital. So that would have been an example of when to say the prayer. I think these guys were praying a long time in my car. Shema must have been going like crazy. But like I said, that's an example of when it goes. So here I'm going deeper when it goes into a place again of the troops of wild animals or of thieves. So once again, mitpalel tefillah katsara, one should daven a short prayer. The ezehi tefillah. So what's the nature of this tefillah katsara? So Rabbi Eliezer Omer, he said, "Aseh ritzoncha b'shamayim mima'al v'tenachat ruach l'reyecha mitachat." Now this is an interesting statement. He says, "Do your will in heaven above," which means, Rashi explains, in heaven there's no sin, and there's no need for you to do any bad. Your will is only for their good. And therefore, but when it comes to the people on the ground, as it were, so there have pity, because we sin. In heaven, nobody sins. Why? Because everybody recognizes you're God. And again, it would be comparable to if the policeman is in front of a normal, sane person, they're not going to do anything wrong. So here where I recognize that God is God, that there is a God there, and everything is going on, fine. So I'm not going to act inappropriately. My Yetzer Hara is totally defeated. My Yetzer Hara is totally defeated by the Yetzer Tov. Actually, the Yetzer Hara is working with the Yetzer Tov, because really they all just want to serve God in the end. So I'm serving God. So there's no sin. So God only does His will up in Shemayim, as it were, because there's no reason for Him to be angry at them. On the other hand, when it comes down to us, was to say, "V'tein nachat ruach," a pleasing spirit to those who fear you from below. So he says, "Shelo yitarev rucham," you shouldn't get your spirit raging against your creations via these wild animals and the thieves. I know I put myself here, and I'm not asking for divine, for you to have a jury on me. What I'm asking is for you to conduct benachas ruach. Not, I want it to be an easy passage, as it were. And then it says, "Yandaf Baruch Atah Hashem, Shemei Tefillah." Blessed is Hashem who hears tefillah. Again, and this is also something that's very important to remember. We never say who will grant our prayer. We always say Shemei Tefillah. We're only asking God to listen, to be attentive to our prayer. If we deserve what we're about to, we deserve whatever we're going to get, we recognize that. But we're asking for divine intervention. And you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, anything that happens comes to the Tova. We have to say also this for good. But when it's in general, in other words, once what happens. But it says that prayer can avert the evil decree. Right? We said every single Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, fast days, the prayer, tefillah tzedakah and ma'asim tovim, the good deeds. So prayer, teshuva, and good deeds can avert prayer. Not good deeds, tzedakah. Tefillah, tzedakah, teshuva. That's what it is. To prayer, charity, and teshuvah, can avert the evil decree. So here, I've prayed. Here I'm walking through a place that's dangerous. I'm throwing in my prayer and asking. I'm not asking for you to forgive me. I'm asking you to have nachas ruach. I want a pleasing spirit. Should have a pleasing spirit on me, and which will allow me to go, that the animals won't touch me, that the thieves won't touch me, and that's it. Okay? So it's and then Rabbi Yehoshua said, this is a short prayer, you should say, Shema Shava'at Amcha Yisrael V'yas Mehera B'kashatam B'rchata Hashem Shemet Tfilah. So he said, his prayer was, you should listen to the cries of your people Israel and do quickly, fulfill quickly their requests. Praise the Yush, the one who listens to prayer. And that is, Rashi explains that Shavat is Lashon Netgicha, the language of groaning. So it's even more intense than prayer. Because what happens is, again, I'm walking into a dangerous place. My prayer is suddenly heightened to realize that I'm not in a good situation. Please get me out of here. Whereas now is a groaning, as compared to a regular prayer where I just daven in my shul where I'm safe. Is well, hopefully in the shul you're much more relaxed. By the way, why aren't we going in a long tefillah with this? Why are we getting to a whole long tefillah here? What would you say?
When you're in a dangerous situation?
Yeah. Why not a nice long tefillah? Pray all the way through, say Shem Allah, say all the Tehillim you can. Why not do that? Why aren't they suggesting that? Simple. Just think simple. Don't go deep on this. Your mind isn't there.
Yeah. I mean, you're not supposed to put yourself in a dangerous situation.
But I'm saying, if you find yourself in a dangerous situation, if you find yourself in a dangerous, people do. We sometimes find ourselves there. So, but why aren't the rabbis saying, say 100 Tehillim? Why aren't they saying that? Because people don't
do that.
Besides that, we don't have the kavanah for that. I won't have the intent. I'm concerned about this. I have to get myself out of it. Just rely upon prayer isn't going to do anything. I have to be running anyway. Figure out how I'm going to get out. But nonetheless, so I'm not going to have that kavanah. So I want to put in a short prayer and ask for divine intervention or divine help and get out of there. If I start spending all my time praying, well, that doesn't help. It's the old example is if I'm in front of the hungry lion, praying really, I mean, prayer may help, who knows? But
that might be a situation, if you can, maybe if a person could get to where he's not thinking about the situation, the danger of the situation, because he's totally in front of Hashem, in tefillah, then maybe he'd be safe. Maybe he'd be.
It's possible. There's one story that I remember that, right? There's one story.
I mean, it's in some kind of nature, a regular person, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So there's I remember a story that there was a rabbi who was in Israel, and he was one of the big guys, and he was davening Shemona Esrei, and suddenly bullets were shooting through the room, and everybody hits the ground, and the rabbi's davening Shemona Esrei. He didn't hit the ground. He's standing there throughout the whole, all the bullets flying. It wasn't touched. And so after the whole incursion, so the guy finishes Shemona Esrei, and he knows that everybody on the floor, and he says, "What's going on?" He said, Rebbe, they were shooting at us. You didn't hit the floor. He said, "I was talking to the king." Now, would he advise everybody else to do that? No. He was oblivious to what was going on. But so there's an example of, if I can be that oblivious to what's going on, but even in that case, that rabbi was not in a place of danger originally. He was in a shul. So the fact that the place of danger came to him is something else. But if he would be in a place of danger, I don't think that he would have the kavanah to start saying, "Oh, I'm going to pray to God." And certainly, again, if the lion is in front of you, a hungry lion or a hungry bear or whatever the bear is, you don't know if the bear is hungry. It's not the time to start saying, "I'm going to do a long Shemona Esrei." It's a time maybe to say confession to God. That he may be doing vidui, but it's or Shema Yisrael. But you're not going to start a long Shemona Esrei. You want to back away, use your sense, and get out of there.
Maybe this can be like a metaphor for life, because
Right.
there are many dangers in life, and there are many times we don't know when we're approaching danger. And so, you know, a wise person would do the tefillim and the tzedakah and the teshuvah all the time.
Well,
To
that's
prepare
true.
yourself.
That's true. That's clearly true. But even with that, even we are supposed to be doing that constantly. But even with that, once I find myself in a place of danger, it's going to cost me something else. I have to recognize that it's only via God's protection that I'm going to get out. If I get out, it's only because of God's protection, not because I was fleet-footed, whatever the expression would be.
Fleet of foot.
Fleet of foot. It's not because I was a brain or anything else. It's only because God. So I'm recognizing that right away. But again, once I've done that, I have to try to use my sense to get out of there to make any clear passage.
By the way, there's some wisdom involved in dealing with wild animals. If it's an animal that normally runs away and now it's being very vicious, then you can get away from it. You don't have to corner. They never corner a raccoon.
Correct.
But if you're because it'll become very vicious, or certain other wild animals. But if you're in front of an animal like a wild dog, a wolf, or a bear, so they never ever run away from them, because you can't get away fast enough. They're 4 feet, 2 feet.
Okay.
You can't get away fast enough. They have the prey instinct. They have the instincts for what is prey. Prey is something that runs away from them, and they'll just do more damage. They'll damage.
There's something, probably in some other Gemara someplace, and something about if you're standing there saying Shemona Esrei, and
A snake.
A snake, yeah, okay, and you just keep praying, because if you don't move, the snake won't attack you.
Well, it says it was a garter snake. In other words, if a snake is not a biting snake, if it can't poison you, then you're not allowed to move. On the other hand, if it is a snake that can kill you, like the ones that bite and give poison, then you stop and get rid of it. Yeah, you don't stand there and let it wrap you.
You know that you're in immediate danger.
Immediate danger, that's it. If you know that it can't hurt you, so then it's just a matter of bothersome. It would be like this. This is the typical snake. Okay? It's what happens is you're doing Shemona Esrei, and it rings. It rings. So we all reach in our pocket. Well, actually, some people I've seen reach in their pocket, pull it out, look at it, and then put it off. I'm thinking, you couldn't just put it out to begin with.
They want to see what
you put it off and then you look. I don't care. But what happens is, one guy happened that it rained, and he was davening because he didn't care. He didn't care that everybody was disturbed. So it's ringing, and finally he would put it off. And then 2 seconds later, ring again. It's about the third time people were saying, no!
Yeah, right.
So that's already. We know you're busy. We know you're a big guy. We don't need it. So that's when suddenly goes on every show, please turn off cell phones upon entering the base matters.
Yeah.
Not that everybody does it, but even when I was davening yesterday from the Talmud, I normally don't turn it off because people know not to call me at certain times. But this time I figured I'm going to put it on vibrate, because if it goes once it's in my pocket and it's vibrate, I don't care. As long as nobody knows that it's ringing, it's irrelevant to me, because I'm not going to pick it up. But and certainly when it rings, I just turn it off. I never look at it when I'm davening. I don't care. I can't answer it anyway, so I'll find out in a few minutes when I look and see a missed call. But that's what it is. This is typical snake. So if I know that it cannot hurt me, I'm not allowed to be bothered by it, which is why you should put it on vibrate and not ring, because otherwise you have to bother yourself because you're bothering other people. But in the case of its danger, the Mishnah says, the Gemara commenting on that Mishnah says you have to get rid of it. And so then let's just continue to the end of this. So Rabbi Elazar ben Sadok, Rav Sadok said, in the dangerous place, you should pray this prayer: Shamash Tza'akat Amcha Yisrael. So you should hear the cries of your nation Israel. It's a different type of shavat to tza'akat. It's more intense here. And again, Vasim Mehera Bakashtam, you should quickly do their request. Brochat Hashem Shemei Tefillah. Acherim Omrim, the others, and that's people who were, I forget who the others are. There's a whole story in the Gemara, and this Gemara about how they got the name others. I forget the original, their real name. But that opinion said, it's one person by the way, that opinion said, that the needs of your nation, Israel, are many, and their knowledge is short. In other words, they don't have the mind to think about it, and they don't have the ability to express their needs. That's how Rashi explains it. And he ends off with Yehi Ratzon Fanecha. It should be your will before you, Hashem Elokeinu, Shetitain L'chol Echad Be'echad, that you give to each individual Kedei Parnasato, according to his needs, his Parnasa, L'chol Gevia De Machzoran, according to each person what they're lacking. Baruch Atah Hashem Shemei Tefillah, praise to you who hears the prayer. And Amar Rav Huna said in the final analysis, halacha ka'acherim, that the halacha, if I'm in the situation, I go with the acherim, the very last opinion, which again is saying that that the needs of Israel are many. We don't have the ability to ask them all. It should be the will before you that you give us what we need and have no lacking. I will stop there.